Sometimes the ones who see the most struggle with the least. Strange, isn't it? How the spiritually awake, the sensitive, the intuitive, the healers, the empathic, the ones who hear what others ignore, often walk through seasons of lack that feel unfair, confusing, even humiliating. You've felt that, haven't you? That tension between what your soul knows and what your bank account shows. It's a strange contradiction. You carry wisdom that could lift nations, yet some days you worry about rent. You've given more than most people ever see, yet you feel like the universe keeps handing you empty hands. But what if your struggle isn't a failure? What if it's a symptom of your awakening? A sign that you're shifting out of one life and into another? Listen, lack is not always punishment. Sometimes it's protection. Sometimes it's the soul saying, stop chasing the world you no longer belong to. You don't see it while it's happening. You just feel tired, stretched thin, wondering why the spiritually shallow seem to prosper while you fight for every breath. But deep inside you there's that whisper. There is something more than this. You've carried so much, haven't you? The guilt of wanting money but fearing ego. The desire to thrive but the shame of ambition. The inner war between spiritual purity and earthly survival. Hear me clearly. This is not punishment, it's preparation. Your financial struggle isn't proof of your weakness, it's proof of your calling. Because spiritually awake people play by different rules. Cosmic rules, divine rules, deeper laws that most never learn. And until you understand those laws, your abundance stays locked behind invisible doors. Today, we're going to open those doors. Gently, safely, with reverence for both God and the universe He created. Because there are 5 cosmic secrets, ancient, subtle, invisible, that sabotage the finances of the spiritually awake. And once you see them, you'll never see your money story the same again. Because you were never meant to be broke. You were meant to be aligned. We all know this struggle. We hold on to beliefs, identities, even fears that once protected us but now imprison us. We cling to spiritual purity like it means rejecting wealth. We cling to guilt as if being blessed means being greedy. We cling to survival mode because thriving feels unfamiliar. Letting go of these patterns feels like death. But what if it's actually birth? What if the very beliefs you cling to are the ones quietly suffocating your abundance? Today, I want to walk you through 5 cosmic truths, 5 subtle spiritual distortions that keep awakened souls struggling financially. Each one is a doorway. Each one is a key. Each one is a shift that can change not just your bank account, but your entire relationship with energy, value, purpose, and calling. By the end of this journey, you will understand the real reason spiritually awake people struggle and why it has nothing to do with laziness, nothing to do with chance, and everything to do with alignment. You'll see that your financial struggle was never your enemy, it was your initiation. Because once the awakened learn the laws, they stop surviving and start creating. You were conditioned to believe that spiritual means self-sacrifice. The first sabotage begins in silence, in the soft, subconscious teachings you absorbed long before you knew they mattered. Somewhere along your path, you learned that good people give everything and take nothing. You learned that wanting money made you selfish. That charging for your gifts made you greedy. That making a living from your spiritual calling was somehow less holy than suffering for it. It's the illusion of holiness through emptiness. Like a candle believing it must burn itself out to prove its light is real. But hear this with your whole spirit. Self-destruction is not spiritual. Self-neglect is not divine. Poverty is not purity. Imagine a healer in a small village. Everyone comes to her for help, for wisdom, comfort, guidance, medicine. But she refuses payment because she believes love should be free. Soon she has nothing left. Her home falls apart. Her body weakens. She can't even afford herbs to make medicine. One day, a child from the village says, "How can your gift help us if it's killing you?" That is the story of the spiritually awake. You pour until you're empty. You give until you disappear. You confuse depletion with virtue. But the universe does not bless martyrs, it blesses vessels. Vessels must stay full, and God Himself never asked you to starve your soul to feed the world. He asked you to shine, not to burn out. When you put yourself last, you teach the universe you don't need receiving. And the universe listens. This is the first cosmic sabotage. You think abundance contradicts your calling when it was meant to fuel it. You attract what you feel worthy of, not what you pray for. You've prayed for abundance. You've begged for breakthroughs. You've asked God for financial relief. But prayers cannot override identity. If deep inside you feel unworthy of receiving, unworthy of being supported, unworthy of being compensated, unworthy of more than survival, then the energy of your life bends to match that belief. The universe is obedient, sometimes painfully so. There's an old story of a man who lived beside a river. Every day he prayed for rain. Every day he begged the heavens for water. But he never built a well, because secretly he didn't believe the rain was meant for him. So even when clouds passed above him, even when droplets touched the ground, he never caught one. He wasn't prepared to receive what he said he wanted. Worthiness is your container. It determines what you can hold. This is why people can pray for abundance while living in patterns that reject it. If you grew up being told, be grateful for what you have. Don't ask for too much. Money changes people. You have to earn your worth. Then your spirit learned to lower itself in order to feel safe. But hear this truth. Your worthiness is not up for negotiation. It was woven into you by the same hands that shaped the stars. When you believe you're worthy, abundance doesn't chase you, it recognizes you. It comes home. Your energy speaks louder than your effort. Sometimes the spiritually awake work harder than anyone they know and still struggle financially. And it's not because they lack skill, discipline, or ambition, it's because the universe responds to energy before effort. Effort moves the physical world, but energy moves the unseen, and abundance always emerges in the unseen first. This is why some people seem to attract opportunities without force while others grind endlessly and barely survive. Their energy is open while yours is conflicted. You may be speaking abundance with your mouth while fear whispers a louder truth beneath it. Fear of being seen, fear of failing, fear of succeeding, fear of charging for your worth, fear of becoming like those who misused money. Energy doesn't lie, and the cosmos always listens to what lies beneath the words. You're like a tree whose fruit is ripe and ready, but surrounded by thorns. What you offer is good and beautiful, but the fear around you keeps abundance from reaching you. When you start healing those thorns, reshaping your inner patterns, releasing the doubt that blocks your receiving, you discover that blessings never needed to be chased. They were always trying to reach you, waiting for the moment your energy would finally say yes. You're trying to serve everyone and draining yourself into nothing. The spiritually awake often carry a wound disguised as compassion, the belief that they must help everyone, heal everyone, and show up for everyone. You feel people's pain deeply, you sense need before it's spoken, and you feel guilty for saying no. But this is exactly how your abundance leaks away. When your energy is open to everyone, drained by everything, and constantly poured into places God never assigned you to, you lose the power needed to receive. You're like a lamp plugged into one outlet, but connected to 10 devices. The more connections, the weaker the light becomes. Your dimming isn't because you're weak, it's because too many people have access to your spirit. Money is an energetic exchange, and when you're drained, you can't give or receive properly. A healer once refused to stop working until she collapsed, and a wise elder told her, "You healed everyone but yourself. How can the universe entrust abundance to someone who will not entrust care to their own spirit? Your calling was never meant to be universal. You're here to serve those assigned to your light, not everyone who steps into your shadow. When you protect your boundaries, you protect your abundance. When you honor your energy, you honor your call. Only then can prosperity flow without resistance. Your calling requires a higher financial level, and you're being prepared, not punished. The deepest truth many spiritually awake people resist is that sometimes financial struggle is not a sign of failure, but a sign of preparation. Your calling requires a higher level of strength, clarity, and inner stability than your current financial identity can hold. God doesn't pour oceans of water into a cracked cup. The universe doesn't send abundance to a soul woven with fear, guilt, or smallness. There's a story of a traveler who carried a small bowl everywhere he went, asking for water, and no matter how many people helped him, the bowl was always too small. One day the bowl shattered, and he cried, thinking he had lost everything until a monk said, "It did not break. It outgrew you. Your bowl is breaking, not because you're cursed, but because you're being reshaped to carry more than you ever have before. You're being prepared to receive without fear, hold abundance without guilt, and rise without shrinking. Your struggle was never punishment, it was training. You're being shaped into someone capable of stewarding the blessings you once prayed for. Someone who can handle prosperity with wisdom, with grounding, with clarity, and with purpose. This is not the season of losing. It's the season of enlarging. You are being positioned, not punished. When these truths finally settle into your spirit, when you release the belief that suffering is holy, when you embrace your inherent worth, when your energy aligns with your calling, when your boundaries become clear, and when you accept that your purpose requires more than survival, everything shifts. You stop fearing money as if it corrupts you. Stop apologizing for wanting stability. Stop shrinking your desires to make others comfortable. You realize you weren't struggling because you were spiritually weak. You were struggling because you were spiritually powerful, too powerful to fit inside a life shaped by scarcity. The old financial patterns couldn't hold who you were becoming, so they had to collapse. And even though it felt like everything was falling apart, it was only making room for something bigger, cleaner, and aligned. You are not breaking. You are expanding. You are not behind. You are being rewritten. You are not being punished. You are being positioned for a level of abundance that matches the depth of your calling. Every closed door protected you. Every delay rerouted you. Every setback strengthened you. Now your energy, identity, and spirit are stepping into a new frequency, and abundance rises to meet you with the same rhythm. What once felt distant becomes natural because receiving is no longer foreign to your spirit. It's aligned with who you now are. You never needed to fear money, reject abundance, or choose between spirit and security. You were created to hold both. You are stepping into a season where your hands can open without trembling, where your heart can receive without guilt, and where your path widens with each step you take in truth. The lack you carried was temporary. The awakening you gained is permanent. You are safe, you are seen, you are ready. God elevates those who rise with humility, and the universe responds to those who finally believe they deserve more than survival. This is your time to shift from scarcity to overflow, from fear to trust, from resistance to divine flow. May your steps stretch wider, your spirit grow stronger, and your life fill with the abundance that was always meant for you. What is meant for you is already moving in your direction, and now, finally, you are ready to receive it.